Hello everyone, welcome to episode 23. Wow, that's gone over quick, hasn't it, mate? Of Aldo Meets. Obviously over the 2 years, we've been joined by tremendous players of our former years. And no one bigger or better who I've got next to me today, I'm delighted to say, along with James and Peter, Schriewersmann. Got that right. The one and only, the great goalkeeper I was lucky to play with and be a friend with, and still am a friend of. We go out now and again, have a few beers. So normally I say, what are you up to, Bruce? Where are you living, Bruce? But know all that. But for yous, we're going to find out now. We're the great fellow. He's my neighbour. I'm in Gattaca. He's in Walton. And we do correspond and meet on the sly a little bit now and again. And have a few beers and reminisce. How are you, pal? We haven't seen you since yesterday.
Yesterday, yes.
See you, mate.
Has he changed?
Well, listen, all I'm going to say is when I got back here from Canada on my little exploits, I had to come back to the UK, and I actually landed here. My first roommate, who I started playing Liverpool Football Club with, was David Johnson.
The doc. Great doc.
Great doc. And when I came back from Canada again, he said, well, you can have my attic suite. And then 4 months later, he said, no, you can pack your bags and get out of here.
He does down for 4 months.
I does down for 4 months. And he gave me that start coming back here. And it's been brilliant. You know, people say that you resonate back to the place that you were given as a chance. Liverpool gave me my life, and it was a great run. And then I went away. Absolutely. It's not a bad place. No, and even when we come back, I had to find out where John was living, and then I lived in the next village.
I'm quite easy when the phone rings. Do you fancy a bevy? I don't say that now. I say, where, when, what time?
Sundays is beautiful. You start off at one place listening to music, you carry on to another place listening to music.
But we just talking about Walton. Got named one of the best villages in England. Well, we're not in England, we're in Liverpool. I think it was the best village.
Best village
in England. And it is, I've been going there for years. It's a lovely spot. We've got a lot of restaurants to pick from. Some really good bars.
Oh, lovely spot.
It's a great run through, and I can see why you live there, to be quite honest.
Well,
so apart from being down the pub with Aldo, what else are you up to?
A little bit of golf here and there and everywhere. My wife is still back in Norway, so I go back and forth to Norway. We've just got, we do fostering for kids.
Oh, okay.
So we've got one as an acute home for his next journey on his life, this youngster. So,
in Liverpool or back in Norway?
No, back in Norway. So I go back every now and then. Right. So my wife is doing that, and rewarding. It's
an amazing thing to do.
Rewarding. So, and you'll see his life go through. When I first met my wife, she's got 3 kids by herself with her ex-husband, and then she started to foster, and she's had 5 foster children, and today they all resonate back to their house.
That's nice.
So it's brilliant, yeah.
And your old club are flying at the minute, top of the Premier League, reigning champions. Haven't retained the title since you were playing in the early 80s. What is that where we're heading, do you think, this season?
Well, 5 out of 5 ain't bad.
And we haven't
we haven't even started. Well, we've started brilliantly in the first half for all of the games, and then we let them come back into it. Is it fitness? Is it personnel? Well, it could be a combination of both. And where you see us going for the rest of the season, I'm delighted to see how they're going to manage to get everybody working together. Yeah. And it's going to be a great ride this season.
I think obviously, the been such a massive changeover, isn't it? You know, with a lot of players going out and a lot of players coming in. So it's going to take time, obviously, for it to settle and get to know each other. And maybe that's part of the problem. I'm saying a problem. We've won every game, you know. Lost the Charity Shield, but it's the fact that we're letting teams and giving teams an opportunity. But we've still got the bottle and character to go and win the games late on, which bodes well for the future.
Yeah.
You know, where I'm looking from it. You know,
any team that you play against and you're struggling, and then you get over the line right at the death, means, well, you're determined.
yes,
And the determination is there through the squad.
Yeah.
So I'm just, you can sit back and you think, well, if this is what it's going to be like, wait until they play well together, right through the game, 90 minutes, not for 45 or 60, and let the other team come in, but for the 90 minutes, because we have got a squad that bodes well for the future.
yeah.
Yeah, we haven't even seen anything of Isak yet. And I think it's fair to say Wirtz is still adjusting to the Premier
Yeah,
League.
he is, yeah.
I mean, I've heard one or two people moan about Wirtz, and I just thought, come on, you know.
Yeah.
That's what people did with Cody Gakpo after 5-6 games. And it's like, look where we are now. I think they just need that time.
It's a different league. It's not the Bundesliga, you know. It is. It's tougher. We all know
He's
it.
only
It's hard
22
to,
as
you
well.
know.
He's a young lad.
That's what you're going to take out of it. He's 22 years of age.
Absolutely.
And some people don't even come up to the major playing rights until they're 27, especially in that midfield role. Yes, in Germany he had a great run, but now he's come to the best league in the world.
Yeah.
It is quicker, it's faster. The brain needs to get quicker. And you can see every single game from the start of the season up until now, how he has grown and how he picks out the passes.
He'll be all right.
And I'm really fascinated with when him and Isak, they've got a telepathy that you didn't know that. They come from different places, bang, and it was just instantly
If
available.
they click,
and you saw it. If they click,
and don't forget, we haven't even mentioned Eccentric, you know.
Yeah.
Wow.
Flying start.
He's hit the ground running, hasn't he?
You know, another young lad, the same similar age of Wirtz, you know, and young Rio, you know, you don't want to get carried away too much. Gapco's not old, you know, obviously the right wing, you know, Mo is, but you know, bodes well hopefully for the future when they're bedding in at the moment, you know, so yeah, and then we still got Alisson, and we got the new fella. How do you say
somebody who's got a
Mamardashvili.
And what's your thoughts on them? As you know, as obviously a goalkeeper coach. You know, you've been a manager. You know, what's your thoughts? Well, we all know Alisson's been a great keeper and continues to be a great keeper for us, doesn't he?
Well, Alisson is the best in the world, bar none today. And for someone to come in and say, "Listen, I need that number one spot," reminds me when I first came over here we had the greatest goalkeeper that Liverpool have ever seen, in Ray Clemence. Yeah. And I said to Ray, well, I'm going to be taking your place. Well, he was the best, and he still is the best, in my opinion, for Liverpool Football Club. But he left. He just wanted another challenge, and he went down to Tottenham, and now was thrown in the deep end. Now, whatever happens with Alisson is the best in the world. His angles are the best one-on-one goalkeeper in the world is Alisson. No other one can do that.
He intimidates the strikers as well.
He does, yes. But then Mamardashvili, I need to see more of him.
Yeah, of course.
Because he had a great first half of the season in Valencia, and then the second half they fell away. But now you're going to have to look at the games that he played there. Is he as good as he says he is? And everybody says that he is. So we're gonna see him. He'll be in the Caribou Cup, and we're gonna be playing him, and everybody will make their opinion.
Bruce, from a goalkeeper point of view, just you look at the game with your football lenses, but also your goalkeeper lenses. And for the younger viewers who might not have seen Ray Clemence and what made him so great. What made him so great?
His communication with his defense, his angles, and his command of the 18-yard box.
Mm.
And he was one that I looked up at and saw what he did, and I took that into my game a little bit further, but never mind. And so, yeah, for me, I look back at all those fantastic games that in the World Cup, and the hand of God. If Ray Clemence had played that game,
would have happened.
That would never have happened because of the goalkeeping situation. Shilton is more of a line goalkeeper.
Absolutely, yeah.
Clemence is more of a box keeper.
I think
he would have come out and just gathered that and knocked Maradona out.
Is it fair to say, like, because I was always intrigued by the way England always sided with Peter Shilton. He was a great keeper, don't get me wrong, but what Peter did, he made easy shots look difficult. Ray made hard shots look easy.
Look simple.
That was the difference, because Peter was flamboyant and the way he was, a great keeper as well. But for me, Ray was always the better of the two. He could sweep, but Ray's concentration was unbelievable because that season we only conceded, I think, 16 goals when he played with only about 13, 14 players. I watched games when not a team had a shot in the cup, not a team had a shot in Europe and all that. We totally dominated. But in the last minute, he'd had to come out and pull, and he would pull. I seen him pull some saves out, unbelievable. To keep it in the European, when the away goal counted double or whatever, his concentration. Yes. Because he had nothing to do for so long. Nothing. And to be fair, you were similar with the team that you played. You know, when you're a goalkeeper, you got a fantastic team in front of you, and you do nothing. You're like that, having a smoke, you can have a pint or whatever. But you've still got to cut. There's going to be sometimes when you've got to. So for Liverpool goalkeepers, and Bruce included, big time in this, your concentration has to be spot on.
Yeah, I took over from Ray behind a great team, and it was like you said, John, some games I used to go and sit on the crossbar. After the game was going on.
It's really
and then walk on my hands around the box because the game is this easy. And until it came down to Boxing Day, and I was told by Bob Paisley, how do you think that you played in the first 6 months? I said, well, boss, I can play better. Maybe I should stop walking on my hands and sitting on the crossbar. He said, yes. If you don't, you find yourself back at crew. And that was a light going off in my head. And I thought, he's serious. He's going to send me back to crew. Liverpool, first division. Fourth division, the bottom of the fourth division, there's crew. So I'm going to be dropping 3 divisions to go down there. I said, well, okay. And I never did anything other than when we scored, I did the handstand. And that was my trademark after that. Whenever we scored, I did the handstand. And then people, what's the score? And you give the score behind your back. And that's what I did for the rest.
In terms of your coaching and managing days, obviously it was in South Africa and Canada, wasn't it? You spent a lot of time. Did you ever, the buzz of playing, could you replicate that from helping players improve, or does nothing come close to the buzz of playing?
No. The buzz of managing is just the same as the buzz from playing. In Africa, I took teams that were in trouble in the relegation, took them up to, good level, and then negotiations. No, we're going to go with someone else. So okay, fine. Then the next team came up and we want your services. I did it, brought them up, won the Super 8, and then other things happened in Africa that everybody wants to know. Well, I'm over age, boss, and I'd like to play my normal age. And this is for the national team in South Africa. So they asked me, my club, I will sort it out. And they send me his card. and yet it's still underage for the under 23. So I said, excuse me, hold on, I'll sort it out. So they said, what can you do? I said, well, tomorrow I'll bring in the proof. So I had a phone call, went down to the passport office, and it wasn't the passport, it was the birth certificate office, home office. I want the 2 birth certificates for Mrs. Mutlajwa, the youngster's mother. And I just looked at these birth certificates because his card, when we first started, he said he was born in 1983. Right? Well, I know that that's underage, but he's not. He's overage. So the clubs go and they get a card that says he's 1981. Well, he's still underage. And I'm going, so I looked at these. His sister's birth certificate was born in 1983. Her name was CNG. His birth certificate said born in 1979. His name is CNK. So they just changed the names. Yeah, and trying to get away with it. So I just went there and I went there. There we go.
Was that commonplace back then, Bruce, you think? Or is it still? Because there's rumors occasionally,
yes,
isn't there, about players' ages coming from the African continent?
100%.
Mm.
Nowadays, it's a FIFA mandate that they can go do bone density.
Yeah.
So they'll find your age. And that but it's a law in Africa. If you ask the mother what year he was born, and if she says that year, you cannot go and do the bone density test. So I went to Mrs. Mutlajwa and I said, listen, who actually told you to sign the affidavit that he was born in 1981? He said, oh, this fella, the white fella and the Indian fella. So I know who they are. So I just went in and I said, which one of you two told Mrs. Mutlajwa that she did? Because then I had to get the same sergeant to write a counter affidavit against that one, saying he was born in 1979. So problems that I've had in Africa, that's it.
Would you have liked to have had the chance to manage in England?
They won't have me managing in England.
Why not?
Because they're frightened because I'll say what I say.
Right.
Straight off the bat, and not what they want me to say.
When you say they, you mean more like chairman, owners,
Everybody.
too outspoken?
Will it be outspoken? No, not really. But would I like to manage in the UK? Yeah, it would be fun.
I can see that. I can see what Bruce is saying there because
be
you know what I've done at Tranmere, I'm quite proud of. All right, and we get to sell best players to survive, you know, and at the young place and bring all the players in freeze and whatever. And the cups were unbelievable. Final, you know, the Carabao Cup, the World Cup, 2 quarterfinals of the FA Cup. But we always had to sell to survive.
Yeah.
And I'm very passionate. I'm not as bad as the nut at Atletico Madrid, by the way, Simeone. but I was a little bit lively on the, and I think I can see what Bruce is saying because they know what they're going to get as a man. They see me, and I acted not great on the sidelines, but I thought I was a good manager. I think that's the reason why no one really came in, because a little bit of intimidation and what I bring to the table, honestly. Because what you see is what you get with me and Bruce.
Absolutely.
And that would happen. You take no shite from them. You won't listen to them. You do your own thing. And I think that's one of the reasons. So I can see where Bruce is coming from there, you know.
I have to say, though, I think people are looking for a little bit of character back in the game, though, because there's nowadays a lot of people have been media trained to the nth degree, and they say that many things, and it means that little. Yeah. So if you got somebody like, say, Jürgen, who said a few things in a clever way, he didn't overstep the mark, but he injected a bit of character and authenticity into it. I think people like a comeback of that, really.
Absolutely. At the moment,
it's
in my journey, I'm looking at trying to come back into football in Africa. And
Even now,
I had a chance to.
I remember you spoke
of going back to Zimbabwe to take the Zimbabwe national team, and this is in the time where Zimbabwe was banned from FIFA because they didn't conform to FIFA regulations. So they put a normalization committee put in by FIFA, normalization committee, and the chairman comes to me and he says, Bruce, have you got a team that you can come back to Zimbabwe and work and for the national team? So I put one together. Go out there into Zimbabwe. Yes, met the chairman of the normalization committee, gave him my CV with the plans and everything. He said, everything will be okay, just wait. Do you think that he came back to me? No. Whatever was in those plans, they ran with it with another coach. They ran with it with another coach. And so I just stepped away and everything. And unfortunately, that coach didn't do well. And they're sitting at 120th in the world rankings. So do I want to give back to football? Absolutely. I'd love to give back to my country again, Zimbabwe, because they were the people that gave me my first opportunity to come to Europe.
Yeah.
I played there and they gave me the first opportunity. You have to give back.
Yeah, no. Let's hope that happens, mate.
Yeah.
But going on about the present day keepers and keepers, Liverpool. And Liverpool was the first sweeper keeper. That was Tommy Lawrence. He had to come with the edge of his box. Ray Clemence was very, very good, brilliant with his feet, sweeping at the back. Bruce, although he was eccentric and he went missing a few times, he was brilliant with his feet. But you know what? I'll tell you something. You know what? We used to play five-a-sides. We only played five-a-side. You'd only see Bruce going on a Thursday when we used to take shots at him. Only for about half an hour. Yeah, other than that. And you used to end the circle now and again, didn't you? Know that? Other than that, he played out on the five-a-sides. So whenever he got the ball, he was always really good with his feet. He's one of the best first initiative ones that you've seen with his feet. But he played the five-a-side. Yeah, sometimes he'd get picked before me in the five-a-sides.
Because I could score better than him. And I was better than Ian Rush as well.
but it's true, isn't it? Like they all do it now, but you were one of the first initiative ones that would get on the ball. Today, even though you could pass it back in them days, you didn't have to, it wasn't free flowing like it is now. You pick it up. But Bruce was very handy with his feet.
Yeah, it went right through my career. When I went to West Bromwich Albion, I was fastest running, I was fitter than the outfield players. Went to Vancouver. You couldn't go in goal in Vancouver. The manager was Tony Waiters, the next goalkeeper.
I remember him, yeah.
And he said, you do everything the outfield players do, and then when they go inside, we'll do an hour outside with just goalkeeping. So I was fitter than anybody. Did everything that the outfield players did, and then he took me into the goalkeeping. What they do today, like sandboxes. They've got a sandbox. You go and dive in the sandbox. It gives you strength in your thighs and your calves, and to get up to the top corner. So that's what the goalkeeping evolution has now started. And this is what you get. You get goalkeeping coaches now. But there's one thing you can ask. Goalkeepers. Do you see goalkeepers catch a ball today? No.
A lot of punching.
Yeah. Well, then they shouldn't wear gloves. Get some gloves that actually catches the ball. Today's style of football, you have control. Once you've got the ball, you've got control. Well, if a goalkeeper punches it, where's the ball going? Anywhere.
That's true.
Give the chance for the opposition. Yeah. But if you can control it, you've got control.
I do agree with that. I think the philosophy now is because the ball's supposed to swerve and all that. But look, we see some shots which are not swerve, and they just punch. And it's true. Just solid. If you got the gloves, the pimples on, it's going hold, isn't it? Yes. It's obviously you've got to make the right, the desired option.
The decision making.
Decision making.
Or I'll start that again. You got to make the desired decision option of the time, because I see it far too often that the keepers flap at things when you can catch it and then you can go, as Bruce says, you know. But I think you get that from your coach as well. You know, you've got to make the right option, and they're scared to make mistakes. Obviously, I understand that because of, you know, the consequences.
Goalkeeping coaching, right? I'm out in Canada doing nothing. I'm on an island called Newfoundland, and I get a phone call from Ottawa Fury. Hello, Bruce. I believe you're a goalkeeper. You know something about goalkeeping. I was given your number by a friend of mine. I said, yes. And I said, what's your name? He said, Mark Dos Santos. I said, yes, Mark. You know. He said, do you know anything about goalkeeping? I said, I know a little bit. And he says, well, have you had any interest in any dealings with professional footballers? I said, yes, I had a little bit. And then he said, well, I was giving you your number because we're looking for a goalkeeping coach. I said, well, when you find out, then you can let me know. I put the phone down. That's about 10 minutes later, he rings up. He says, oh, Bruce, I'm very, very sorry. I said, no, you don't have to apologize at all. I said, if you've got another person to take the goalkeeping, the position, I wish you all the best. He said, no, I didn't know who I was talking to.
I wondered about the question. But
he didn't know who he was talking to. He said, there's a fellow called Bruce. He's out in Canada. And if you want him to come be a goalkeeping coach, he phoned me up. So he said, can you come? And I did. I took a goalkeeper at Ottawa Fury. Right. His name was Romuald Paisley. French guy, lovely gentleman, and Mark Dos Santos said, I want him to be my number one. And I looked at him and I said, listen, we're going to work. So I had all the drills, dancing feet, keep your legs, don't cross over, boom, 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 everything. And he turned around and he said, no, when I was in Portugal and I played for Braga, we never did this. And when I was there with this French team, we never did this. And when I was there in this Austrian team, we never did this. We did. I said, well, what did you do? He said, well, certainly didn't any of this. I said, okay. And I looked at his name and I went into the computer and I looked at how many games he had played for these teams. Oh, I've been there 18 months. And I played, I was there. 18 months, you've been there and you played 20 games for the first team. Not 67 like you should, but not 20. So you only came on as a backup. So I pulled his and I said, yeah, bang. There's where I played. Notice 336 games I was ever present at Liverpool. And he looked and I said to him, right, now, do you want to go and work? From that day, I made him the best goalkeeper in the USL. He won everything that they needed to work because he humble enough to go and work afterward. If they want to work, they will do.
Yeah, no, that's a good story. But on that note, we'll finish part one of Aldo Meets with the great Brucey, Peter, and James. We'll see you shortly.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me tell you the story of a poor boy. He was set far away from his home to fight for his king and his country, and also the old folks back home. So they put him in a Highland division.
Right, welcome back to part two of Aldo Meets with obviously the famous three. Bruce, I've known a lot of stories. You've told me a lot about when you were a kid, but what was it really like as a kid? You know, with the passion you had for football, growing up in Durban, wasn't it? You were born in Durban, and then obviously you went on. You actually joined the army, didn't you? So tell us about your younger life,
early days.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was born in Durban, 1957, and
a nice place, by the way.
yeah, it is
Really nice place. Yeah,
it's
great coastline.
England's last stand in South Africa, but that's what they called it, British stronghold. So born in Durban, never lived there. 2 months of age, my mother and my sister, my mother decided to take my sister and myself to Rhodesia by train. So I look at Rhodesia, Zimbabwe as being my country because that's where I live. And yeah, it was like that. I played all the sports in Rhodesia. In the winter, I played rugby and football.
So what do we rugby, football and cricket? So obviously big into cricket there, weren't we?
In the winter, you played football for one of your teams, and then at rugby at school. And in the summer, you play cricket at school and baseball at one of the clubs.
Oh, all right.
So my parents were my father was with the railways, so Railton Club. That's where I went and played football in the winter, and then baseball in the summer. And my mother used to play hockey, and my father was a goalkeeper for the Railton first team. So that's where I learned that.
So was that why you went goalkeeper, because of your dad?
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
Because my mother was a goalkeeper in hockey.
Oh, she
So,
did?
Really?
Yeah, in field hockey. So it just came right. I'm watching both of them. They're both in goal. One in the hockey pitch, me and my father there. And so, yes.
It was a natural progression, really, isn't it?
Well, he said to me, listen, son, you can do anything in that area, 44 yards wide, 18 yards deep. Nobody else can do. You're the captain of that area.
Mm.
Nobody can tell you what to do in that area because they don't play there. You do. And there's one thing.
That's your home.
That's your home. You can captain that. So that's why any area of that, you one thing that you can do that nobody can do is catch the ball and hold the ball. So that was it. I played for Railton, and then I was messing about at the school just down about from my home when my father left my mum, and we were in the flats. So at my junior school, they've got some goals. So we were messing about, three of us, 1v1 in the box and a goalkeeper. And if you score, you rotate the goalkeeper. So you just do that. And this fella came across and he said, I'd like you to come to Salisbury Callies. So I said, well, where's Salisbury Callies? He said, well, Salisbury Callies. I said, my mother, she won't like that. He said, no. So he went and spoke to her. He said, listen, we'd like your son to come to Salisbury Callies. We'll pay his subs for this season and see how good he is. So that was David Russell. So I ended up playing for Salisbury Callies, an all-white team, but they never played in the white league because they won everything.
Right.
There were 3 different leagues in Rhodesia.
Which was that one? It was
segregated. But what they did is they went as a white team into the black league to play against the black league.
Okay.
And it was when there was a white league and then they had another league for the rest. So it was all the mines and all the factories. They had a league. So they had 2 leagues. And Salisbury Callies went into this national league. All white team. Well, 6 months later, my mother leaves, goes to Bulawayo, 500 kilometers away. And I have to go with her because I'm still at school. Go with her. Well, Salisbury Callies ring up all the teams in Bulawayo to find out if they want my services. And what happened was we played BAT Rose Bowl quarterfinals in the rain in Bulawayo. And I was in goal for that game, and we won 3-1. So Matabeleland and Highlanders said, yeah, we'll take him. And my debut in the Barberfield Stadium, there are 33,000 people in the stadium, and there's one white person, and that was me, 15 years of age, in that stadium. Yes, we won, so I was happy. Got on my bike, rode home, and that's how my progression started.
And then where did the army come into it? What age was that?
That was very short, because finished my O-levels, got some good grades, and I said to my mother, I'm going to become a goalkeeper. She said, oh, which team? I said, Matabeleland and Highlanders. She said, oh, well, you better phone the Scottish team because they might have sold you to somewhere else. And they did. They sold me to a team called Chibuku. So Chibuku was a brewery firm up in Harare.
How old was you then?
I was 17.
And how much did you sell it for? Do you remember?
$5,000, and which made a new cocktail lounge at Salisbury Kelly's.
Money well spent.
They built a cocktail lounge at Salisbury Kelly's. So that lasted 6 weeks because I didn't like the manager and I didn't like the way he was, utilizing me. So I told him he can have his team, and I drove back down to Bulawayo. On coming into my mother's office, he says, "What are you doing here?" I said, "Well, I'm going to go to Durban. I'm going to go down to my birthplace. I want to see where I've come from." She said, "No, you're going to go to the barracks with me after work." And I went, "What for?" She says, "You're going to be called up." So I went down to the barracks. I gave him my name, Grobbelaar. He said, 6 weeks' time, there's an intake in 6 weeks' time, and that's where you're going to be called up. I looked at my mother, and I said to her, "Mum, 6 weeks. Next week, I'll be in Durban surfing." And to which the sergeant major told my mother, "Well, there is one going in tomorrow morning." And she grabbed my hand, and I signed. So I did that. Signed for a year. Didn't do a year's service because the war had intensified, so they put the year up to 18 months. Ended up 18 months, they put it up to another 6 months to do 2 years. And from that, coming out of the war days, I went straight down to Durban City. There was a goalkeeping seminar hosted by Roy Bailey. There's a goalkeeper called Gary Bailey that played for
Ex-United.
Roy Bailey was ex-Blackpool keeper and England goalkeeper. And he had this goalkeeping clinic. So my manager at the time, Bill Williams, said, "Well, you might as well go in there and get some workout with Roy Bailey." Well, at the end of it, Roy Bailey said to Bill Williams and the chairman, "There's a goalkeeper called Bruce Grobbelaar. He'll never be a goalkeeper as long as he's got a hole in his behind." And that's what I kept in my psyche. For all the years that I've been through the league, I kept that at the back of my mind. Roy Bailey told me I would never be a goalkeeper. So I've kept that.
Reverse psychology, to use that to of course you do, yeah. Absolutely.
So how did you end up in Vancouver?
Well, I came over to Britain after receiving call-up papers in South Africa. I was there 18 months with Durban City, having a nice time, thinking I'm going to have a great time. And then 18 months later, I get a call-up papers, I'm going to be sent to the South African Army. So I said to my mate, "Wow, this is not happening." And he gave me my first trip to come to West Bromwich Albion. And I came here on a loan, on a trial period.
With Ron Atkinson.
5 months I was there with Ron Atkinson. Couldn't get a work permit. He sent me to Bournemouth because his mate down in Bournemouth, he said, well, go and see if this chap can get you a work permit. So I met Harry Redknapp down there. He couldn't do anything for me. So I came back and I said, listen, I'm going to go back to South Africa. He said, no, don't.
Who said that?
Colin Addison, he's
Oh, I know. He's my manager in Newport County.
Yeah, Colin Addison said to me, listen, do yourself a favour, get yourself to Derby County tomorrow. Tony Waiters in Vancouver wants a goalkeeper. So I did. I went, got a vehicle, went up Derby County, did the 2 hours, and after that he said yes, and he signed me. And so I went over to Vancouver. I was there for the first year. I played 3 games because we had a goalkeeper called Phil Parks from Wolverhampton Wanderers playing.
Yeah,
when he got injured, I played. We got through to the soccer bowl. I was on the bench on that. Fantastic. We won it. Got my first medal. And then the manager says to me, Bruce, I've only seen you play 3 games. You're going to the strongest team in the English league. And I went to Liverpool. He looked at me and went, no. I said, well, what about? He said they're the strongest team in the English league because they're 92nd in the Football League, holding everybody up on the shoulders.
And when you went there, because I remember there was a hullabaloo, and because Bruce, like,
just
quite notorious in the papers, and it was his first game of crew was against Newport County. I thought, oh yeah, Bruce Grobbelaar. I thought, yeah. So I always remember it was about halfway through the first half, 0-0. I broke the line and it bent me running in behind. Bruce comes marching out. About 30 yards out, I just bent it round, and he thought he just missed out, didn't he? Just got me toe and just got it round.
And he got it round.
So I scored the first goal against English football. We went on to win. I think it was 3-1 or whatever. But that was shortly after that when Liverpool got you one. Was it a crew?
It was a crew, actually. Yes. We had done very, very well in the league. Well, our first game was them, and then we went to Wigan, where we lost the game. So we're still 92nd in the Football League, still sticking down there. Well, it comes down to the end of the season. Second last game, we're playing Portsmouth away, and Portsmouth need 2 points for a win to go up to the next league.
I tell you what, they used to be about 20,000.
That was it, yeah. 20,000. Yeah. So I said to Tony Waddington, I said, listen, boss, it's my second last game, and I haven't seen a friend of mine from South Africa who's now in Torquay for all this time. He's the person that got me over here in the first place. Chap called Harry Weir, and he lives in Torquay. Can I go and visit him? He says, yeah, you can go visit him, but meet us in Portsmouth. So I never trained the whole of that week. He said to me, can you train? I said, yes, I'll train with Torquay United. I had one training session with Torquay United, and that was it. Went out, caught the train all the way to Portsmouth, bang, there, and we played the game. We drew 1-1. Both goals were scored by crew player, chap called Mickey Guy, Irishman. He scored an own goal against me, and then he scored a worldie as 1-1. And it was there with Tom Saunders from Liverpool Football Club was standing behind in the Portsmouth end looking at a midfield player. And in that game, I had quite a few soirees out of my area into the midfield, passing the ball and then getting back. And he went back to Liverpool and he said to Bob Paisley, don't worry about the midfield player that I went to go and watch. There's a goalkeeper you should watch. He plays both positions in the same game, goalkeeper and midfield. And that was that weekend. The next weekend we're playing against York City at home. And the boss says to me, Bruce, we've done the business. I went, what have you done? No, we're not 92nd in the Football League anymore. We're 86th. I don't have to write to the league. First time in 3 years, you had to write to the league.
You didn't go down.
Yeah.
I don't have to write to the league to be invited back in. So, and today you're going to be captain. He said, thank you very much, boss. He said, but please don't do something silly during the game. I went, okay. So when we came out for the warm-up, for our warm-up, it's raining. So I said to Mavis, the tea lady, can I borrow your umbrella? And I did 20 minutes of warm-up with an umbrella. And when I finished that, running in...
Tom Saunders is in the stand, isn't he?
Yeah.
Watching this.
And there's Tony Waddington going like this when I walk. I said, what's the matter, Gaffer? He said, do you know those two very important people that came to watch you play? I said, what do you mean came? He said, yes, they've gone to watch Stoke City play Port Vale now. And that was Tom Saunders and Bob Paisley. And 12 weeks later, Paisley had to come to Vancouver to ask a question. And he asked a question, would you like to play for Liverpool? I said, yes. And he went, Tom, let's go. And they went out the door, went back to the airport and flew away. 3 weeks later, there's I've just sold you to Liverpool for £250,000. So it worked.
Yeah, and you mentioned earlier on about taking over from the great Ray Clemence. Of course, he went to Tottenham the summer after you arrived, didn't he? And I mean, just an incredible period of success. Wasn't it? You win 3 league titles in a row, 82, 83, 84, and then arguably your greatest night in Rome in the European Cup final 84. Was that the pinnacle?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, well, you look at your first medal, and as I said, I won my first medal in the soccer bowl in 79, which gave me an appetite. But for Liverpool, it was the League Cup in April, and then we never got our championship medal until the next summer, first day of training. We got it then. So those little things kept us grounded. Ronnie Moran used to come in after you've won the league the previous season with a cardboard box. And he'll put the cardboard box on the dressing table and he'll look at us.
Big heads.
Big heads. Pick one of those out if you think you've played well last season and if you deserve it. So you go, well, I've played most of the games, boom. And then he'll go and pick up the... So that's how they grounded us. But I'm telling you now, you look at this club and you think, wow, the psychology that they used on the players was unbelievable. And they kept you grounded all the time. All the time.
Well, where did
let's go for the... I think we've got to talk about the spaghetti legs, isn't it? You know, you got to tell obviously the story, which I've heard loads of times, but you've got to hear this because it's a tremendous story. Starting off in the tunnel, and you know that people don't realise the Roma players.
It was hostile there. Wasn't it?
It was
massively. But in the tunnel, tell them what you did.
All the people on our bus were stoned before we even got into the stadium. And people think, oh, hold on a minute, that's a bit near the mark. What are they doing? It wasn't about taking tablets or smoking anything. It was the actual rocks coming through the bus windows. That's what I mean. Boom. They had the rocks, bang, they were going through the windows. You get in there hostile, yes. Sui takes us to the opposition end.
Kicking in.
Oh, there we go. All the missiles coming, landing on the track because there was a running track around it. So we thought, no, we'll get out of here. Get into the dressing room, into the tunnel, and then we're standing in the tunnel after the whistle goes to come out. And there's no opposition. No referees. So Sui looks around, he says, David Hodgson, you, Sammy, and Craig Johnson, you've got something to do with Middlesbrough. That fella in Middlesbrough, who makes music. What's his name? Chris Rea. Yeah? Give us a song that we can warm up to. Says, I don't know what it is, but I love it. I don't know what it is, but I love it. Stay, and we're warming up and down the tunnel.
Big tunnel, isn't it? It's a massive tunnel.
Someone knocked on the opposition door, and Sui just says, never mind about them, look them in the eye and carry on doing exactly what you're doing. Can you imagine? Italians coming out and you going, I don't know what it is, but I love it. And I found out subsequently to that the manager of Roma, when he heard us singing, he was a Swede. When he heard us singing, he turns around to his staff and he said, I don't think that we're going to win this game. And they went, what do you mean? Why not? He said, listen to them. They think that they are at home singing the song. And that's where it went. If we can cause an opposition manager to go, I don't know if we're going to win this, then he's not in the right frame of mind in the beginning. And we went on and we actually lifted
the famous penalty shootout.
That was funny.
Because
you see, the thing is, it's 1-1 at the end of the game, and there's our manager, the only manager in Liverpool that ever smoked. As an assistant, he used to smoke. Yeah. You saw this puff of smoke coming out in the dugout. That's all, smoking Joe. And he's there. He's got his cigarette out, and he said, listen, I'm going to tell you the order of penalties now for the last time. Phil Neal first, Stevie Nicol second, Souness you third. And he goes, Rashi fourth, and he goes, Dalglish fifth. To which Kenny says, excuse me, boss, you substituted me in the 86th minute. Well, here comes another fag out. He's going, oh, geez, well, who came on for you? He looks around and he sees someone lying on his back. He goes, you've been on the field 10 minutes, Michael Robinson, and now you got cramp. So nobody wanted to take the penalties. He's looking around and he says, well, where's Hansen and Lawrence? So he's looking at us and we're looking past him. So he realizes that they're there somewhere.
No.
He turns around, they're on the halfway line waving at our fans. Apparently, they were arguing who was going to take number 10 or 11 penalty for them. He looks around, where's Sammy? Sammy. He's gone missing. And then in the end, there were two of us standing like this. He looks at me, he looks at Alan Kennedy. He goes, Bruce, you taking the fifth penalty. Well, it never happened that way, because what happened was the coin goes up, comes down, Liverpool in the Roma end. Phil Neal has got his boot off and the other one is tying nicely. So Stevie Nicol, he says to the boss, picks up the ball, he says, Gaffer, I'm getting nervous. I'm too nervous and I'm going to be taking the first penalty if he's not ready. Started walking to the box. Phil Neal goes, it should be me. He said, well, let's run with it. He went up there, not the person that you want to go first, because I tell you what, he's got no marbles in his head. He's got, we call him shovel foot. He's got size 13 and a half feet, but he tries to squeeze them in size 11 boots. So on his toes, he's got a little bit of a bent toe like this. And when he hit it, it went boom, and went over the top of the bar. Of course, he ballooned it. I started walking to the goal. I didn't have to look up because I got this arm around me. I didn't have to look up because I could smell the cigarette. Joe Fagan shouldn't be in this position. Should have taken our chances in the second half and the extra time. Nobody's going to blame you. Oh, jeepers. I'm now thinking, nobody blame me. I've heard the blame word. And then he goes, if you can't stop a ball from 12 yards. And I went, oh, thanks, boss. And as I turned around, he says, well, try and put them off. And that was it. Try and put them off. First penalty, I should have done what I normally do. Stay where you are, because the chap taking the penalty is more nervous than you. Any goalkeeper in the shootout, first penalty, it is coming just near you. You can follow the ball because they want to hit the target. I didn't. I moved right. The ball came straight down the middle, clipped my fingers and went in. Well, Phil Neal is now finished tying his bootlaces, put the ball down and stuck it in. And then Bruno Conti, that little left winger, oh, he was a beauty. He put the ball under his arm and he started skipping to the line. Oh, and you could almost listen to him singing to himself. I'm Bruno Conti. I crossed the ball for Pearce to score. Now I'm going to score a penalty. And he goes up there, and whilst he's dancing, I went onto the line, put my hands on my knees, crossed him over like the 60s dance, and he stopped in his tracks and he looked at me. Okay. Right? Put the ball down, took 2 paces backwards. I went back on the line, put my hands on my knees and looked at him, and I went, chum, 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 chum. And what did he do?
Skied it
over the top of the bar. Now, I thought it might work. Well, Sui put the ball in the top corner. I couldn't get back into the goal quick enough for the next penalty because of Rigoletti. And Rigoletti had been taking penalties after training. When we were watching, same top corner. And I'm thinking, ooh, you're going to make my day. I took off when he kicked the ball, top right. Boom. Poof. I looked over, it went top left. And then when I got off the floor of the stadium and had a look at it properly, I realized that I was watching him from the other side of the stadium, watching the penalties. Next penalty taker was Ian Rush. He puts it down. Worst penalty we've ever seen, but Tancredi lay down and the ball happens to go in the back of the net, as strikers say. It doesn't matter how they go.
No, it does go.
As long as you hit the back of the net. Well, the next thing, Graziani came. Graziani came in. Put his arm around the referee. I didn't like that. I bit the net. You can't touch a referee. And he started marching. No, proper marching. He was in the army. He gets to the spot. He leaves the referee alone, kisses the ball, puts the ball down, crosses himself. And that's when I came in. And I looked at the net. I went, the net looks like spaghetti. So that's where I came in and I did the spaghetti legs. And what did he do? He skied it as well. So I'm happy. I didn't have to make a save. The best penalty shootout that we've ever been in as a club, I'm going to tell you, it is now Jersey Dudek.
Yep.
You know why? Because he kept us in the game in the 98th minute or 95th minute. Double save from Shevchenko to keep us in the game. And then he did something like mine, but even better, because he had to save the penalty twice. So
yeah, but don't put yourself down because you did put them
evolution. It's evolution. It's evolution. That's what I started, and then the next one I came done something better, and this is how it rolls. Next goalkeeper, maybe Alisson will do it. Maybe the next generation will do it.
Yeah.
So I'm
you're the first one, mate. Can't take that off you.
And you were also the first African player to win the European Cup. What did that mean?
Yes,
what did that mean to you?
That means everything. For me, from Africa, once I won that, and when I went back to coach in Africa, and they knew that I was the first one, how many other Africans have come up and picked up that trophy again? After me.
Special, isn't it?
It is special.
Yeah, of course it is.
You know, I've got no qualms in saying thank you very much to Liverpool Football Club and us for winning that.
Yeah, no, thank you as well. How many medals did you end up winning for Liverpool? What let me know your how many leagues and I think ups and your how many do you?
Well, 628 games. I won 6 league titles.
Wow.
3 FA Cups, 3 League Cups, 1 Super Cup, 5 Charity Shields, and the European Cup. 19 medals in the 13 years.
I love that, I love that.
Bruce,
that's quality, mate.
Bob Paisley, Joe Fagan, obviously we heard about the smoking and so on, but what were the differences between the two for you? Or which of the two did you, let's say, enjoy playing for most?
Well, Bob Paisley was one of the best managers that I've played under. You couldn't understand him. When he spoke to you, you go to Joe to find out what he said.
It's like me with Aldo sometimes,
And he wouldn't tell you. He would just say, "What are you asking me for? We paid all this money for you. Just get out and play." And that was Joe. If he had some specific thing that he had to translate, he would have done. But yes, both of them are, in my estimation, one of the 5 greatest managers that I've played under. Bob Paisley first, Joe Fagan second.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry to say this, but for you. And you know what I'm going to say. Sir Kenny Dalglish, for his seamless way that he transitioned into that area.
Yeah.
And then for me, after that, it was Alan Ball at Southampton.
Oh, yeah.
And
no, great fella.
Our national team manager, who was my mentor in coaching, and that was Reinhard Fabisch from Germany.
There you go.
Our national coach.
Maybe slightly before my time.
Makes you feel better, doesn't it, mate?
I'll Google him.
Yeah, you can Google him. You'll get his son. His son plays in Spain now.
All right.
Yeah, and he's just on the cusp of getting into the national team now.
What was the best Liverpool team you played in? Because obviously the team evolved a lot, didn't it? Obviously, you had the 87 rebuild with Aldo and Beardsley and Barnes and Houghton. And
the 81-82 was a rebuild. We had 5 different players that we had to rebuild, and then we ended up winning the league after that. That was a rebuild. And then there was the 85-86. That was with you. No,
that was
87. It was a 5-86 that I thought that was.
You won the double
good.
then, didn't you? Under Kenny.
And then when John Aldridge came, that era going up to 88, 89. That 88, 89, I would say, put it up with the other two.
Special team.
Special.
When you think about what Kenny did and the back room, because it was all about the boot room then.
Yeah.
Kenny and Rushy went to Juventus. Kenny stopped playing. That's a massive hole to fill. But for them to put together, because we were playing through the middle, as you said, they went different because they got me in first. No, my forte was out wide and balls into the box, because you had to get a striker to get you the 30 goals, more or less. So they see me as the replay. But what they did then was brilliant, because you went and got Barnesy. Oh, he's just a dream. Best player in the world at the time. Peter Beasley. Magician.
He was the one that did the
magician money. And he was like Verts a little bit, like in many ways, and then went and got me muck at Oxford, and Ray Houghton, who was really brainy. And all of a sudden it just clicked, and you went, "What is this?" Yeah. So we had the same keeper, same defence, same midfield, more or less,
And they just slotted these.
And it was just a dream to be part of.
It was fantastic.
Yeah,
we should have won should have had 2 more.
Should have had 2 more doubles.
But anyway, I don't want to talk about the Wimbledon game or the Arsenal game was even worse. It was a dream, wasn't it?
No, it was a dream, and I still say that I'm still angry at one person.
Cheers, mate. I'll remember that.
No, but not you.
Are we talking about who lost the ball in the last second?
He shouldn't have given you.
Oh, Barnesy!
He shouldn't have given you the ball for the first one. He would have taken it. He would have scored.
Oh.
Barnesy, you
And
were in
so you're
Wimbledon.
blaming him for both for not going into the corner.
Correct then.
I go with that. Yeah. So when you come on this show, Barnes, you got out of your say.
Come
as
on,
well,
you
mate.
can
Let me tell you the story of a poor boy. He was sent far away from his home to fight for his king and his country, and also the old folks back home. So they put him in a Highland division.
Time for the quiz.
Yeah.
I won't
Had a
get
quiz.
any of them.
We've got a quiz for you. Oh, yeah. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know.
Yeah, it's James's special quiz.
This is yours. Right.
It's six.
Blame me if it's
six
rubbish.
answers we need off you. Do you know why we have 6 questions, not 5, 4, or 3?
Why?
It's the amount of times we've won the European Cup.
Ah, there we go. I love it.
Nice.
Yes.
But
It's a nice, easy one.
it's-
Go on
This.
then.
James.
Yeah,
Right,
go on.
number 1. Who did you make your Liverpool debut against in August '81?
Wolverhampton Wanderers
Correct.
away. 1-0 loss.
This is slightly trickier. Number 2. 2 other new signings made their debuts for Liverpool in the same game.
Craig Johnson.
Correct.
And
Do you want a clue for the other one? or-
no, I'm going to go with Mark Lawrence.
Correct.
Well done, mate.
Well done.
Well done.
Number 3. Only 2 Liverpool players have ever played more games in a row for the club than you. You managed 317 between 81 and 86. Can you name the 2 that have played more games in a row?
Phil Neal.
Yeah.
Correct?
417.
Ian Keller.
Ray Clemence.
Was it
336.
Ray Clemence?
Yeah.
Oh, was it
But
Ray?
that's you've had 2 out of 3. You've already beaten Nico.
But he only had half a pint, to be fair.
Nico had 6 pints by now.
Number 4, which Liverpool goalie deputised for you for parts of the 88-89 season and ended up playing 25 times that season?
80 what?
88-89, I think. A few injuries that season.
Through injuries that
You
season.
remember it.
Mike Hooper.
Correct.
Yeah, Hoops.
Oh, yeah.
Good lad, Hoops. That's good.
Number 5, this is multiple choice. How many clean sheets did you keep for Liverpool?
Yeah, but you can.
Is it?
Oh, you're going
Oh,
to
no, yeah. So,
Yeah,
so
go on.
is
Go
it
on.
A 257, B 267, or C 277?
267.
Correct.
Well done, mate.
Wow.
And finally, number 6.
4 out of 5.
You made a cameo appearance in which UK soap opera on TV in 1994?
Brookside.
Correct.
Well done,
Five
mate.
out of
5 out of 6. Well done, pal.
I was upset about that other one. Which one did I get wrong?
You got the...
Just the consecutive appearances.
Ray
Ray
Clemence.
Clemence.
Five and a half out of
Ray,
6.
5.5 out of 6.
Yeah, that's
It's right up there.
Well, that was a great podcast, and delighted that Bruce could come and join us. So thanks very much, mate.
No
on
problem.
behalf of all me and the lads.
Yes, in there.
Well done, pal, and we'll see you
Bruce,
next time.
thanks.
Aldo Meets. Take care, everyone.
That's it.
Cheers.